quick update on the war in Ukraine. We're seeing lots of cammed footage of Russian tanks and armoured personnel carriers and other bits and bobs that have loads of sandbags piled on their roofs. Why would you have a great pile of sandbags on top of your tank? I'll tell you why. The reason is that the US has shipped in several thousand, they didn't give the exact numbers, but they said they sent in 10,000 bits of military equipment, and in that 10,000 included several thousand Javelin missiles. And I've talked about the Milan, which is the British one that well, I don't think it's actually British, but it's the one that we use, going back to the 80s, using the Falklands and that. That's a wire-guided anti-tank missile with a heat warhead, a high-explosive anti-tank warhead. And that's wire-guided. You have to literally have line of sight on your target. You point the thing, you have to line it up, and you have to keep your monitor pointed at the thing. I think it has a laser that you keep arranged on the target, and it's got a long range, very effective, but it's line of sight. You have to just keep it pointed, and the missile will do its thing. The Americans with these Javelins, they're a little different. You can see some videos of them on YouTube. They're not wire guided, and they're not line of sight as such. Basically, they're fire and forget. So what you do, you identify your target, you launch it, and then you run. And these things work from about 2.5 kilometers away. So you're not going to see the person that launches it. And you don't even see where they launch it from, because the way it launches, it has a small charge that kind of shoves it out of the launcher. And then a second or two later, the rocket motor engages, and then the thing goes boom and flies off. So, you'll see the puff of smoke and everything, maybe, if you're lucky, but you're not gonna know precisely where it's come from, because obviously the one charge takes out the launcher and you don't see that, and then the motor engages. But why the sandbags on top of all the armoured vehicles? It's because with the Javelin, you can set it to either do a direct attack, where you just hammer it into the side, or it's actually intelligent enough that it flies up in the air to a few hundred yards, and then it dives down on the target and bursts above it. And that's why we're seeing all these sandbags, because these Javelins, that's what they do. And that's the normal way to attack one of these armoured vehicles. You come down from above, because it's such an unusual attack. And obviously all of these tanks, they have explosive reactive armour, so they are resistant to attacks from the side. Although I believe that a Javelin will still penetrate explosive reactive armour. I think it can still even deal with that. But the usual attack is from the top. That's the place. And that's what we're seeing at the moment. Why are they doing this? Well, clearly they're taking incredible losses. And I've seen so much cammed footage of burnt out tanks, burnt out convoys. These weapons are having an effect. The bigger question is, will Putin want to enlarge the war, towards NATO? Because clearly these weapons are having an effect. They're messing up his campaign, because he's got nothing to deal with them. If you're having to pile sandbags on your tank, you've got a problem, because frankly, it's not going to stop one of these things. It'll dive on your head and still blow you up. And we've seen that. There's several vehicles I've seen now that have still been destroyed, despite having various protections on top of them. They still get burnt out by these weapons. So it's a bit of a nightmare, really, for them. We watch and we wait.